Bible truth, line by line, in context, 5-minute lessons. Let's go. Welcome to Bible Bites. All right, guys, the 5-minute lesson starts now. All right, what's going on, guys? So we left off with Romans 2:25, and we saw that a Jewish person can lose their status as a Jew. They can be unjewed, which is wild when you think about it, right? But we're going to keep going from there, and let's see what it's got to say about that. All right. Now, what we do know is that the verse also says to be stripped of a Jew, or to be stripped as a Jew of that status is bad, because to be circumcised verily profiteth, means it's highly beneficial. I don't know what the benefit is, and I really don't know what circumcision is in this context right now, right? But we're going to go ahead and go forward and see if we discover that. So let's go to Romans 2:26, and we see that Paul then smacks the Jewish audience right in the face with a logical argument. And so this is what he says. Check it out. If a Jew can lose their place for breaking the law, couldn't a Gentile take their place by following the law? Now remember, Romans 2:14 and 15 stated that Gentiles have the law written in their heart, which manifests through our conscience, right? But Jews have a different formal written law. Now we know about the 10 Commandments and the stone tablets. There are other Jewish laws that come into play, but just in general, if you have that knowledge, then you know that there's a formal written law out there, and the Jews possessed it, okay? So it appears that to be chosen by God, right, taking all this into consideration, it appears that to be chosen by God is conditional with obeying his law. It has nothing to do with ethnicity or nationality, right? Remember, Romans 2:11 told us there is no respect of persons when it comes to God. He does not favor one nationality over another, right? But Paul expounds on this in Romans 2:27, right? He says that a Gentile who is considered uncircumcised can be counted as circumcised if they keep the law, like Romans 2:26 told us, right? Now, Romans 2:25 showed us that if a Jew breaks the law, their circumcision is made. Uncircumcision. It doesn't say might be made. It says it is made. If they break the law, their circumcision is made uncircumcision, which it again shows that circumcision is a state of being, not an inherited identity by ethnicity or nationality, right? And the state of circumcision is conditional with obeying the law. Romans 2:13, doers of the law are just, right? Romans 2:27 makes the statement then, uncircumcision, which is by nature. So if circumcision is a conditional state, uncircumcision must also be a conditional state and not subject to nationality or ethnicity. So by nature is not referring to a physical circumcision, right? Question: what type of circumcision did the Jewish people have or believe they possessed that doesn't seem to work, apparently, right? Remember, Romans 2:13, only doers of the law are just. But remember Romans 2:14 and 15, Gentiles can by nature do what's contained in the law because the law is located in their heart, which is then filtered through their conscience and finally manifested into their thoughts, which control our actions, making us doers or undoers, which determines our conditional state of being circumcised or uncircumcised. And then Paul logically asks whether these circumcised individuals, these circumcised Gentiles, have the right and authority to judge an ethnic Jew who has circumcision, but he's breaking the law. This law that he rests in, right? Does a Gentile who's following the law have the right to judge a Jew who's not following the law? Again, question: what kind of circumcision did the Jewish people possess, right? Well, if they are breaking the law, we know for certain it is not a circumcision capable of making them just before God. We know that. This lines up perfectly with Romans 2:1-3, because if a man judges another man while doing the same things, that man condemns himself, and only God can judge man. It doesn't say God and his chosen people, the Jews. It says only God can judge man. Romans 2:2. But we are sure that the judgment of God is according to truth against them that commit such things. We're going to stop right here, but you're starting to see now that there is a separation going on in conversation between Paul talking to Gentiles and Paul talking to his Jewish audience that apparently came under faith in Christ. There's a different conversation being broken off now, and we are going to follow that conversation to the end of the book of Romans. It will blow your mind, guys, but stick with me. Love you. We'll hit it next time. I'm out. This is Bible Bites.